There's a reason why the most successful people don't announce their every move. They don't waste time convincing others. They focus, they execute, and they let the results speak for them. Too many people get caught up in proving themselves to the world before they've even built anything worth proving. They talk about their goals, their ambitions, and their dreams, seeking validation, seeking approval, only to realize that words don't create success. Actions do. If you want real progress, focus on yourself and stay silent. The world is noisy. Everyone has something to say, an opinion to give, a judgment to pass. If you listen to all of it, you lose sight of what truly matters. Yourself, your path, your journey. Your energy is limited. Every minute spent explaining yourself, justifying your dreams, or responding to negativity is a minute lost from actually achieving those dreams. Let people wonder what you're up to. Let them guess. Because while they're talking, you're building. While they're watching, you're working. And when the time is right, your results will do all the talking for you. Success doesn't need an announcement, it needs action. So stop sharing your every move. Stop seeking validation from people who don't understand your vision. Work in silence, focus on your growth, and when you rise so high that your success becomes undeniable. The moment you stop worrying about what others are doing and start focusing on yourself, everything changes. Your energy, your time, and your thoughts are limited resources. When you spend them comparing yourself to others, trying to prove something, or seeking approval, you waste the very fuel that could be driving your growth. The world is full of distractions. Other people's opinions, social media, unnecessary drama, but none of these things contribute to your progress. The only way to move forward is to direct all your attention inward and focus on what truly matters, your own development. We live in a society that constantly pulls our focus in 100 different directions. We are conditioned to believe that success is measured by external validation, how many followers we have, how much praise we receive, or how others perceive us. But real success is built in silence. It is created when no one is watching, and the moments when you choose discipline over distraction, action over excuses. The more you focus on yourself, the clearer your vision becomes. You stop worrying about competition because you realize the only person you are truly competing with is the person you were yesterday. When you direct your energy toward yourself, you start to see what really needs to change. Maybe you need to develop better habits, improve your discipline, or refine your skills. Maybe you need to cut out toxic influences that drain your motivation. Whatever it is, you won't see it until you stop looking outward and start looking inward. Distractions can make you feel busy, but they don't make you productive. They give you the illusion of progress while keeping you stuck in the same place. True progress requires focused effort, uninterrupted by the noise of the outside world. One of the greatest advantages of focusing on yourself is the ability to move in silence. When you're constantly broadcasting your plans, you invite unnecessary opinions, skepticism, and even doubt into your mind. People will project their fears onto you. They will tell you what's realistic based on their own limitation. But when you stay silent and just do the work, you remove the space for negativity to take root. You no longer need approval or validation because your results will speak for themselves. There is power in eliminating the unnecessary. If you look at the most successful people, you'll see a pattern. They are deeply focused. They are not concerned with what others are saying about them. They are not caught up in proving anything to anyone. They are locked in on their mission, doing the work behind closed doors and showing up every single day to push themselves forward. That level of discipline doesn't come from motivation alone. It comes from an unshakable focus on personal growth. Focusing on yourself also means taking full ownership of your life. It means accepting that no one is coming to save you. No one is responsible for your success but you. You can blame circumstances, you can blame people, but none of that will move you forward. The only thing that will is your decision to take control and put in the effort. Growth is a process and it requires patience. There will be moments of frustration, self-doubt, and exhaustion. But if you keep your focus on your long-term vision, if you refuse to be distracted by what others are doing or saying, you will continue to move forward. Your time is precious. Every second spent on someone else's business is a second taken away from your own progress. The more you focus on yourself, the more clarity you gain, the more confidence you build, and the closer you get to the person you were meant to become. Success isn't about proving anything to the world, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. And that only happens when you block out the noise and focus on the work that truly matters. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world that glorifies noise, constant updates, and public validation, silence is seen as weakness. But in reality, silence is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. It is the foundation of self-control, discipline, and focus. It is the ability to move without being seen, to grow without being interrupted, and to build without unnecessary distractions. Those who master silence understand that power is not in what is said, but in what is done. Too often, people feel the need to announce their every move. They talk about their plans, their goals, and their ambitions before they have even laid the first brick. They do this for validation, to feel a sense of progress, to gain approval from others. But talking about a goal and working toward a goal are two very different things. Words are easy, execution is difficult. And the more you talk about something, the more you invite opinions, doubts, and negativity into your space. Silence, on the other hand, allows you to protect your vision from the influence of others. Strength comes from self-restraint, the ability to hold back, to keep things to yourself, to resist the urge to explain, defend, or justify your actions. That is real power. When you stay silent, you create an environment where you can operate without interference. You don't waste time arguing or proving yourself to people who don't understand your journey. You don't allow distractions to pull you off course. Instead, you focus all your energy on the only thing that truly matters, your progress. Silence also creates an element of unpredictability. When people don't know your next move, they cannot interfere with it. They cannot discourage you, sabotage you, or plant seeds of doubt in your mind. They are left to wonder, to assume, and to guess. And while they are busy doing that, you are working, you are moving forward, building your future and staying committed to your vision without unnecessary noise. This is how real success is achieved, not through announcements, not through validation seeking, but through quiet, consistent effort. Many people confuse silence with weakness. They think that if you don't respond, if you don't defend yourself, if you don't prove yourself to others, then you are being passive. But silence is not passive, it is strategic. It is the conscious decision to conserve energy for things that truly matter. It is the discipline to stay focused on long-term goals rather than short-term reactions. It is the understanding that not every battle is worth fighting and that the strongest person in the room is often the one who speaks the least. When you embrace silence, you develop an unshakable mindset. You become immune to criticism because you no longer need approval. You become unaffected by distractions because you have learned to tune them out. You gain an edge over those who waste their energy on gossip, drama, and unnecessary conflicts. And instead of reacting to everything, you choose when to engage and when to remain silent. And in doing so, you control the narrative of your own life. The most successful people in the world understand this concept. They do not announce every move, nor do they explain their choices to everyone. They let their actions speak for themselves. They operate with a quiet confidence that doesn't need validation, and by the time people realize what they have been working on, it is already done. Silence is strength because it gives you control. Control over your emotions, your actions, and your destiny. It allows you to move with intention, to build without interference, and to rise without unnecessary resistance. The less you say, the more you can do. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. And the stronger you grow, the less you need to prove. Seeking validation is one of the biggest obstacles to personal growth. When you constantly look for approval from others, you give away control over your own life. You let their opinions shape your decisions, their judgments influence your actions, and their expectations dictate your path. But true success comes from discipline, not validation. It comes from committing to your goals regardless of who is watching, who approves, or who believes in you. Discipline is the ability to show up every single day and put in the work, even when no one is clapping for you. Many people fail to reach their full potential because they are more focused on being seen than on actually improving. They want to be praised, noticed, and admired, but they don't want to put in the years of silent, unrecognized effort it takes to build something real. They get discouraged when their work doesn't get instant recognition, and they lose motivation when no one acknowledges their progress. This is because their drive is external. It depends on other people's validation rather than their own commitment to excellence. But discipline doesn't rely on applause. Discipline is what keeps you going when no one is watching, when no one cares, and when no one is giving you credit. Validation is temporary. It feels good in the moment, but it doesn't last. People's opinions change. Their attention shifts. What they admire today, they might ignore tomorrow. If your motivation is based on validation, you will constantly be chasing approval, adjusting your actions to fit what others want, and losing yourself in the process. But discipline is permanent. It creates habits, builds resilience, and develops character. It ensures that no matter what the world says, you continue to grow, improve, and move forward. One of the biggest differences between successful people and those who struggle is their mindset toward discipline. Successful people do not wait to feel motivated. They do not rely on external encouragement. They wake up and do what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. They understand that growth is not about inspiration, it's about consistency. They don't announce their efforts or seek constant reassurance. They simply show up, put in the work, and let the results speak for themselves. Discipline also means choosing long-term success over short-term gratification. Many people would rather get a quick burst of validation than put in the years of effort required for real mastery. They want recognition now without doing the hard work. But those who prioritize discipline over validation are different. They are willing to be misunderstood. They are willing to go unnoticed. They are willing to sacrifice short-term praise for long-term achievement because they know that in the end, it is not the people who talk the most about success who win. It's the ones who quietly put in the work and never stop improving. This mindset requires mental toughness. It requires you to be okay with not being recognized, with not being celebrated, and with not receiving immediate rewards. It requires you to trust the process and believe in yourself even when no one else does. It means staying committed to your vision even when the outside world offers no validation. It means understanding that progress is not always visible and that real success is built in silence. If you want to achieve anything great in life, you must make discipline your foundation. You must learn to work without needing recognition. You must develop the ability to stay focused on your path even when others doubt you. You must be willing to keep going even when there is no applause, no encouragement, and no visible reward. Because in the end, validation fades, but discipline lasts. And it is discipline, not approval, not praise, not recognition that will take you to the top. Distractions are everywhere. They come in the form of social media, gossip, opinions, self-doubt, and even the people around us. Every day, there is something trying to pull us away from what truly matters. And the difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is simple. Successful people have mastered the art of ignoring distractions. They understand that focus is the most valuable currency and they guard it fiercely. Most people don't realize how much time they waste on things that don't contribute to their growth. They scroll endlessly on their phones, reacting to things that don't matter. They engage in pointless debates trying to prove themselves to people who will never understand their vision. They listen to negativity, allowing other people's doubts to plant seeds of insecurity in their minds. But none of these things add value to their lives. None of these distractions move them forward. Instead, they drain energy, waste time, and create unnecessary stress. The reason distractions are so dangerous is that they don't always seem harmful at first. They often disguise themselves as harmless entertainment, quick conversations, or minor interruptions. But over time, these small distractions add up, stealing hours, days, even years from your life. The more you give in to them, the harder it becomes to stay on track. And before you know it, you find yourself wondering why you haven't made any real progress toward your goals. To truly achieve something great, you have to train yourself to ignore anything that does not serve your growth. This requires discipline. It means learning to say no even when it's uncomfortable. It means shutting out the noise even when people expect you to engage. It means walking away from drama, negativity, and useless conversations that do nothing but drain your energy. It means recognizing that your time is the most valuable resource you have, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Ignoring distractions is not just about avoiding social media or limiting screen time. It's about controlling your environment. If you surround yourself with people who are unfocused, you will become unfocused. If you constantly consume negativity, you will start to think negatively. Your surroundings shape your mindset more than you realize. That's why the most successful people are extremely selective about what they allow into their space. They do not entertain gossip, drama, or meaningless debates. They do not waste time proving themselves to people who don't matter. They do not let the outside world dictate their priorities. Instead, they create an environment that supports their growth and they protect it at all costs. Another important part of ignoring distractions is learning to manage your own mind. Sometimes the biggest distraction is not external, it's internal. Self-doubt, fear, and overthinking can be just as destructive as anything happening outside of you. That's why mental discipline is so important. You have to train your mind to stay focused, to block out negativity, and to keep moving forward even when doubt creeps in. This is not easy, but it is necessary if you want to achieve something great. You must become ruthless about your focus. You must be willing to walk away from anything that does not align with your goals. You must stop explaining yourself to people who don't understand your vision. You must stop giving energy to distractions that serve no purpose. And most importantly, you must remind yourself every single day that your time and attention are limited, so spend them wisely. The art of ignoring distractions is a skill that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It is the ability to stay locked in on your goals no matter what is happening around you. It is the discipline to keep going even when the world tries to pull you in 1,000 different directions. It is the mindset of champions, the habit of winners, and the secret to achieving anything you set your mind to. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, fluctuating with your emotions. your environment, and your circumstances. One day you wake up feeling inspired, ready to take on the world. The next day you feel tired, unmotivated, and uninterested in doing the very things you once felt excited about. This is why people struggle to achieve their goals. They rely on motivation to push them forward, and when motivation disappears, as it always does, they stop taking action. Consistency, on the other hand, does not depend on how you feel. It is the ability to show up every single day and put in the work regardless of your mood. It is the discipline to keep going even when excitement fades, even when no one is watching, even when results are not immediate. While motivation is temporary, consistency builds momentum. It compounds over time, creating real progress, real growth, and real success. Most people fail not because they lack motivation, but because they lack consistency. They get inspired, take action for a few days, and then stop when the initial excitement wears off. They want fast results, and when they don't see them right away, they lose interest. But success does not happen overnight. It is the result of small, repeated actions over a long period. The people who achieve their goals are not the ones who are always motivated. They are the ones who have learned to be disciplined even when they don't feel like it. Think about anyone who has mastered a skill, an athlete, a musician, a business leader. They did not get to where they are by relying on motivation. They got there by committing to a process, by practicing every single day, by pushing through the moments when they felt like quitting. They understood that motivation is just a spark, but consistency is what keeps the fire burning. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting to feel motivated before they take action. They say things like, "I'll start when I feel ready," or "I'll go to the gym when I feel like it." But if you only take action when you feel motivated, you will never get anywhere. The key is to start anyway, to push yourself forward even when you don't feel like it. Because action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Consistency is what separates those who succeed from those who only dream. It is what turns effort into mastery, potential into reality, and goals into achievements. The people who win in life are not necessarily the most talented, the smartest, or the luckiest. They are the ones who refuse to quit. They are the ones who keep showing up day after day, even when it's hard, even when progress is slow, even when no one is cheering for them. This is why habits matter. Motivation might get you started, but habits keep you going. If you develop the habit of taking action every day, whether you feel like it or not, you remove the need for motivation altogether. You no longer have to rely on fleeting emotions because your actions become automatic. You build a system that ensures progress no matter what. The truth is, motivation is a luxury, but consistency is a necessity. Motivation will fail you. It will leave you when things get difficult. It will disappear when you need it the most, but consistency will never fail you. If you commit to showing up, doing the work, and staying focused, success becomes inevitable. So stop chasing motivation. Instead, build discipline. Build routines that support your goals. Train yourself to take action no matter how you feel, because in the end, it is not the most motivated people who succeed, it is the most consistent. Your growth is your responsibility. No one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to push you, discipline you, or make sure you stay on track. The reality is that most people are too focused on their own lives to worry about whether or not you're reaching your potential. And that's exactly why your growth is your business. It's something you must take ownership of, something you must actively protect, something you must prioritize every single day. Too often people wait for permission to grow. They wait for the right opportunity, the right time, or the right support. They expect others to validate their ambitions, to encourage them, or to recognize their efforts. But growth doesn't work that way. If you're waiting for someone to push you, you'll be waiting forever. If you need constant validation to keep going, you'll never sustain progress. True growth happens when you take full responsibility for your own development, when you stop looking for external motivation and start holding yourself accountable. The biggest mistake you can make is assuming that anyone else cares as much about your growth as you do. Sure, people may support you, they may encourage you from time to time, but at the end of the day, it's your life. No one else is going to put in the work for you. No one else is going to sacrifice for your vision. If you don't take it seriously, no one else will. That's why you have to treat your growth like a business, something that requires consistent investment, strategic decisions, and unwavering commitment. In business, success doesn't come from waiting for the perfect conditions. It comes from taking action, learning from failures, and continuously improving. The same applies to personal growth. You can't afford to sit back and hope for things to change. You have to actively create change. That means developing better habits, making disciplined choices, and eliminating distractions that slow you down. It means putting in the work every single day, even when no one is watching, even when progress feels slow, even when you feel like giving up. One of the biggest challenges in personal growth is dealing with external opinions. People will have their own thoughts about your journey. Some will doubt you, some will criticize you, some will try to discourage you, not because they don't want you to succeed, but because they don't understand your vision. But here's the truth, their opinions don't matter. Your growth is not their business, it's yours. And the moment you stop worrying about what others think, you free yourself to move at your own pace, in your own way, toward your own goals. Taking ownership of your growth also means being honest with yourself. You have to recognize where you need to improve, where you need to step up, and where you've been making excuses. Growth is not always comfortable. It requires self-awareness, humility, and a willingness to change. But the alternative, staying stuck, playing small, and living below your potential, is far worse. If you want to grow, you must commit to the process. There will be challenges, there will be moments of frustration and setbacks. But every successful person understands one simple truth. Growth is a long game. It requires patience, persistence, and the ability to keep going even when the results aren't immediate. You are building something bigger than a moment of success. You are building a foundation for a lifetime of progress. At the end of the day, your growth is entirely up to you. No one else is responsible for your discipline, your habits, or your mindset. You are. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start making real progress. So take control, treat your growth like a business, invest in yourself, stay focused, and refuse to settle for anything less than your full potential.